Good morning, children. Yesterday we have completed the mouth parts and what are the functions of teeth, what is the structure of tooth, and what is the structure of tongue, what are the taste buds present on the tongue, and what are the papillae, and we have completed these one thing. And also we have completed about the pharynx and about the tonsils which are present in the pharynx and the parts of the pharynx. Esophagus, still esophagus we have completed. The next part in the digestive system is stomach. So stomach is a J-shaped, stomach is a J-shaped muscular distensible sac. Distensible sac. Distensible sac. Stomach is a J-shaped muscular distensible sac. Already yesterday I have said what is meant by distensible. Distensible is a sac or a membrane which expands, or the membrane which has the capacity of expanding. So stomach, how much quantity of food if we take also, it has the capacity of expanding. So we are calling as a distensible sac. If you see the location of stomach, stomach is present towards the upper left portion, towards the lower left portion, lower, that is towards the upper, stomach is present towards the upper left portion of abdominal cavity, upper left portion of abdominal cavity, of abdominal cavity, below the diaphragm, below the diaphragm, below the diaphragm. So stomach is present towards the after left portion in the abdominal cavity below the left diaphragm. So there are 4 parts in the stomach. How many parts are present in the stomach is 4 parts are present in the stomach. So what are the 4 parts present in the stomach is, so the 4 parts present in the stomach are cardiac stomach, cardiac stomach. Another one is fundus, main body, and pyloric stomach. The stomach consists of 4 parts. The 4 parts present in the stomach are cardiac stomach, fundus, main body, and pyloric stomach. So if you see the cardiac stomach, the first part is cardiac stomach. Cardiac stomach is present below the esophagus, or we can say esophagus leads into a stomach. Esophagus leads into a stomach called cardiac stomach. The first portion of the stomach is known as cardiac stomach, whereas esophagus opens into the stomach by gastroesophageal sphincter. This is known as gastroesophageal sphincter. Gastroesophageal sphincter. So esophagus opens into the stomach by gastroesophageal sphincter. That first portion of the stomach where esophagus enters into the stomach is called cardiac stomach. So if you see the cardiac stomach in small children will not be developed well. That means the muscles which are present in the cardiac stomach will not develop well. That is the sphincter, that is the cardiac sphincter which is present between this esophageal sphincter, that is esophagus and stomach. That sphincter will not be developed well. Because of that, what happens is in small children, a regurgitation of food occurs. Regurgitation. Regurgitation of food occurs. Regurgitation of food occurs means indigestion occurs and small children will be vomiting. So they omit the food materials because of the cardiac muscles which are not well developed in cardiac stomach. It occurs only in small children. Because of undeveloped muscles, regurgitation of food occurs in small children. The next part of the stomach is fundus. The next part is fundus. Fundus is the outer, that is upper projected part of the stomach is called fundus. The upper projected part, the upper projected part of the stomach is called fundus. The main function of fundus is the gas which is formed in the stomach is stored in the fundus. The gas which is formed because of the gastric juices or enzymes, that gas is filled in the fundus. So which part has gas? Fundus part is filled with gas. The next part is body. The next part in the stomach is body. So body is the middle part of the stomach. Middle part of the stomach is called body. The fourth part is pyloric stomach. The fourth part is pyloric stomach. Pyloric stomach is the stomach which is in the posterior portion of the stomach. The posterior part of the stomach is known as pyloric stomach. Pyloric stomach is present near to the duodenum, or we can call as a part in the small intestine. Pyloric stomach opens into the duodenum through a sphincter called pyloric sphincter. Pyloric sphincter is nothing but a sphincter which is present between the pyloric stomach and duodenum. Pyloric stomach and duodenum. So inside the stomach consists of many folds called rugae, or we can call it as gastric root. Gastric root. So inner lining of the stomach has many folds. The inner lining of stomach has many folds called gastric root. In between these gastric roots only, gastric glands are present, which secretes enzymes. Which secretes enzymes. That is, between the inner folding of the stomach has many folds called gastric rugae. This gastric, in between these gastric roots, many gastric glands are present. This gastric glands only secretes the enzymes. So stomach is a J-shaped muscular chamber which we are calling as the distensible sac, which is located towards the left upper portion of the abdominal region below the diaphragm. So stomach consists of mainly four parts. The four parts in the stomach is cardiac stomach, fundus or fundic region we can call, main body, another one is pyloric stomach. If you see the cardiac stomach is the part which is present near to the esophagus, or we can say esophagus enters into the stomach, which that part is known as cardiac stomach. In small children, the sphincter in the cardiac stomach is not well developed. Because of that, in small children, regurgitation of food occurs. That is, vomiting sensation occurs in the small children because of not well, because of undeveloped muscles present in the cardiac stomach. The upper projected part of the stomach is called fundus. The gas which is released in the stomach is filled in the fundus. So the gas is present. Fundus is filled with the gas. The middle part of the stomach is called main body. Then the posterior part of the stomach is called pyloric stomach. Pyloric stomach is the posterior part of the stomach which leads into the small intestine at the first part of the small intestine called duodenum. Between the pyloric stomach and the duodenum, a valve is present. That valve is called pyloric valve, which is guarded by pyloric sphincter. Inside the stomach, we can see many folds called gastric roots. That gastric rugae, in between these folds are gastric rugae. Gastric glands are present, which gives out the enzymes or the digestive juices for the digestion of food particles. But when we see the stomach, just we will have a glance at the stomach of ruminant organisms. Ruminant organisms in Telugu we will call Nemarvese Jentuvulu. So the stomach in ruminant animals is different from human beings or different from some other or some organism. Why it is different? Why the stomach of ruminant organisms is different from other organisms' stomach is they are herbivorous organisms. Herbivorous organisms means the animals which depend on plant material. Already I have said in the beginning when we are talking about the introduction, I have said the plant material is lined with cellulose which take little bit more time for the digestion of cellulose being a polysaccharide. So here the stomach also must be designed in such a way for the digestion of cellulose by the ruminant organisms, because the ruminant organisms they each or engulf the food particles, and again when they have leisure time they bring back the food materials and continuously they will be chewing, and after chewing the food enters to the stomach of ruminant organisms. So the stomach in ruminant organisms is known as compound stomach. The stomach of ruminant organisms is called compound stomach. Why we are calling as compound stomach? Which organisms is having compound stomach? Ruminant organisms. Ruminant organisms has compound stomach. Compound stomach of our ruminant organism stomach consists of four parts. What are the four parts in ruminant organisms? Ruminant organisms is rumen, reticulum, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. Omasum and obamasum. So the four parts together we are calling as compound stomach. So what are the parts in compound stomach of a ruminant organism is rumen, reticulum, omasum, obamasum. If you see the rumen, here rumen in the rumen itself, rumen only digestion of cellulose starts. So the digestion of cellulose starts in the rumen by anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration. So the digestion of cellulose in the ruminant organism starts in the rumen, that is by anaerobic respiration. If you see the reticulum, reticulum is known as spore stomach. Reticulum is known as spore stomach. Whereas omasum, the next part is called omasum. In omasum, no digestive juices are found. No digestive juices. No digestive juices are formed in omasum. Whereas in obamasum, if you see, obamasum is known as the true stomach. Obamasum is known as the true stomach because all the digestive enzymes which are necessary for the digestion of proteins or cellulose, for the complete digestion of cellulose proteins are remaining all the food particles whatever is taken by the ruminant organisms. Complete digestion occurs in abomasum with the help of digestive enzymes. So that abomasum we will call as true stomach. Which part is known as true stomach in ruminant organism? Obomasm is known as true stomach. Which is known as true stomach? Obomasm is known as true stomach because complete digestion in ruminant organisms occurs in obomasm. The digestive enzymes, production of digestive enzymes also occurs or will be produced in obomasm. So this obomasm is well developed in all the organisms except in desert animals. Desert animals, that is in camel, this obomasm is not well developed. And also omasm is we cannot see this omasm is absent in deserts and rabbits. That is in some of the organisms this omasm is absent. This is about the compound stomach present in ruminant organisms. The next part in human digestive system is small intestine. Human digestive system is small intestine. The next part in a human digestive system is small intestine. In the alimentary canal, which is the longest tube is small intestine. Small intestine is the long tube in alimentary canal. Long tube in alimentary canal is small intestine, which is of 6 meters in length. The length of small intestine is 6 meters. Small intestine consists of 3 parts. Small intestine consists of 3 parts. The 3 parts in small intestine are duodenum, next one is jejunum, jejunum, and the third one is ileum. The third one is ileum. So now we will speak about these parts linely. So the first part in the small intestine is duodenum. Duodenum is a C-shaped structure, or we can say pyloric, pyloric stomach continues or comes down as small intestine. That part we are calling as duodenum, or the first part in the small intestine is called duodenum. Duodenum is of a, already we have discussed about the stomach. So the stomach, this part, that is the C-shaped structure part, which follows down or which comes down into the so this part is called duodenum. This part is called a duodenum. The C-shaped structure is called duodenum. Duodenum consists of 2 ducts. So what are the 2 ducts present in duodenum is the duct which opens into the duodenum is called hepatopancreatic duct. Hepatopancreatic duct opens into the duodenum. What is hepatopancreatic duct? Hepatopancreatic duct is hepatic duct. Hepatic duct comes from the liver. The hepatic duct arises from the liver and opens into the duodenum. Whereas the pancreas, which is present between the stomach and the intestine, even that duct also opens into the duodenum. So 2 ducts combine and forms into a common duct called hepatopancreatic duct. This hepatopancreatic duct opens into the duodenum. Which duct is opening to the duodenum? Hepatopancreatic duct is opening into the duodenum. So inside the duodenum, we can see a Brunner's glands which secrete the mucus. So inside the duodenum, glands called Brunner's glands are present. Which glands are present in the duodenum? Brunner's glands are present. The main function of Brunner's gland is secreting mucus. Secreting mucus. So the next part of small intestine is jejunum. The next part in the small intestine is a jejunum. So jejunum is a coiled structure. The coiled structure of small intestine is called jejunum. Jejunum is thick tube. It is a thick tube and highly vascular when compared with ileum. Highly vascular. Highly vascular means more blood vessels are present in the jejunum. So the second part in the small intestine is called jejunum. Jejunum is a coiled tube, whereas it is the tube is thick and highly vascular. Inside the jejunum, we can see a finger-like projections are present. These finger-like projections are called villi. Finger-like projections are present. Finger-like projections are present inside the jejunum. That finger-like projections are called villi. The main function of villi is it increases the surface area. It increases the surface area of the stomach, or we can say of the small intestine. Which increases the surface area? Villi like finger-like structures are small projections which we are calling as villi, increases the surface area in the small intestine. What is the increase? What is the main function of surface area increasing is because of this villi or surface area increasing, even the absorption of food materials also increases. The main function of villi is it increases the absorption of food materials. So we can say the main function of small intestine is absorbing the digested food materials. So which absorbs the digested food materials in the small intestine? Finger-like structures called villi or microvilli. My villi and microvilli is nothing but a small difference is that finger-like projections which has many microscopic projections covered with epithelial lining or we can say columnar epithelial lining. That projections we will call as microvilli, which increases the surface area for the digestion, for the absorption of digested food material. That is the jejunum. The next part is called ileum. The next part is called ileum. Ileum is highly coiled structure than the jejunum. Highly coiled structure when compared with the jejunum. Jejunum is a coiled structure, but whereas ileum is highly coiled structure when compared with the jejunum. But it is thin. It is thin and vascular. Thin and vascular tube. Ileum is highly coiled tube or highly coiled structure, which is thin, vascular. Here it is coiled, thick, highly vascular, but it is not that much vascular, but ileum is vascular. Here also the main function of small intestine is complete digestion occurs in the small intestine. And this digested food materials also absorbed by the small intestine. So the main function of small intestine is complete digestion occurs in the small intestine and also absorption of food materials occurs in the small intestine. So with the help of a microscopic or with the help of a villi. So that is the main function of a small intestine are the parts of small intestine. Once again see children, small intestine is the long tube in the alimentary canal. The length of small intestine is 6 meters. The small intestine consists of 3 parts: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Duodenum is a C-shaped structure which starts from pyloric stomach. Pyloric stomach enters into the duodenum through a valve called pyloric valve, through a valve called a pyloric valve. That pyloric valve is protected by a sphincter called pyloric sphincter. The main function of pyloric sphincter is it prevents the backward flow of food from duodenum into the stomach. Now, this duodenum is lined with the Brunner's gland, which secretes mucus. Inside the duodenum, we have two kinds of ducts. One duct which enters from the pancreas, another duct which enters from the liver. Both the ducts unite together and forms a common duct called hepatopancreatic duct. This hepatopancreatic duct enters into the duodenum. The second part of small intestine is called jejunum. Jejunum is a coiled structure which is thin and vascular. Microvilli or finger-like projections called microvilli are present inside the jejunum, which helps for the absorption of food materials by increasing the surface area. The next part is called ileum. Ileum is highly coiled structure than the jejunum. It is thin and vascular, not as highly vascular as jejunum, but it is vascular. Just it sends the remaining food materials or the complete absorption or digestion occurs in the small intestine. That is the main function of small intestine. So this ileum enters into the next part called large intestine. The next part of alimentary canal is large intestine. So the next part in a alimentary canal is large intestine. Large intestine. The length of large intestine is 1.5 meters. The length of large intestine is 1.5 meters. The main function of large intestine is absorption of absorption of absorption of water, minerals, water and minerals from undigested food materials. From undigested food materials. The main function of large intestine is absorption of water and minerals from undigested food materials and also eliminating pieces, eliminating pieces, or we can call as a eliminating fecal matter or excretory products are undigested food material. So this is the main function of large intestine. And one more function also is there, that is production of vitamins. Some of the vitamins that will be produced. Production of vitamins. So, production of vitamins. So, in herbivorous animals or in mostly in herbivorous animals, the vitamins which are needed are the vitamins or the enzymes which are needed for the production of cellulose that is produced in the large intestine. And I will say now clearly how this production, whereas the absorption and eliminating of pieces occurs and what are the parts present in the large intestine. If you see the parts in the large intestine consists of three parts. Parts present in the large intestine. It consists of three parts. The three parts in large intestine is, first one is cecum, cecum. Second one is colon, and the third one is rectum. Third one is the rectum. So these are the three parts present in the small intestine. So we will see clearly how this, what are the parts present in the large intestine, where is their location, and what is the function of these parts. So the first part is called cecum. Already we have seen about the small intestine. Small intestine enters Small intestine enters into the large intestine through a part called ileum. So ileum is the last part of small intestine through which it is entering into the large intestine. So this part is called ileum. So ileum enters to the first part of large intestine called cecum. Large intestine called a cecum. The first part called the first part in the large intestine is called cecum. Ileum, the last part of small intestine is ileum. Ileum enters into the first part of large intestine called cecum. Cecum is a blind sac, a small, cecum is a small blind sac. Cecum is a small blind sac which is present near to the ileum. So cecum consists of microorganisms. So microorganisms are present in the cecum. What microorganisms are present? Symbiotic microorganisms are present in the cecum. What is meant by symbiotic microorganisms? Symbiotic microorganisms are nothing but the germs which benefit from the host as well as also which helps the organisms to digest the food materials or produces the vitamins which is helpful for the host. Such kind of microorganism we will call as symbiotic microorganism. Very important big children. Symbiotic microorganism is present in. They'll use cecum, colon, rectum, anus. So which is the answer here? Cecum. So cecum has the symbiotic microorganisms which help for the digestion of food material. So here, while it helps the organisms for the releasing of the vitamins as well as it benefits from the organism by absorbing the food materials. So such kind of bacteria is called symbiote, mutual benefit we can call. Yes, cecum is a small blind sac where symbiotic microorganism is hosted. And this ileum, when it is uniting or when it is entering into the cecum, at the meeting point of at the meeting point of ileum with the cecum, a small finger-like structure called appendix is formed. Appendix. So the appendix or we can call as vermiform appendix. Vermiform appendix. So vermiform appendix is a part which is formed at the union of ileum into the cecum. So at the union of ileum into the cecum, here the valve is present. That valve we can call as ileocecal valve. Ileocecal valve. So where is the valve present or what is that valve? A valve is nothing but which is present between the ileum which enters to the cecum. So between these two parts, ileocecal valve is present at the junction of ileum and cecum. A small finger-like projection called vermiform appendix is present. This vermiform appendix or we can call as abdominal tonsil also. Abdominal tonsil. Abdominal tonsil. What is abdominal tonsil? This is nothing but a lymphoid tonsil. This is nothing but a tonsil. So, abdominal tonsil or we can call as vermiform appendix. So, this is vestigial in man. Which is vestigial in man? Abdominal tonsil or vermiform appendix is vestigial. What is the meaning of vestigial? which is not useful for any purpose. Whereas in the digestion or for any purpose, this how nails and hairs are vestigial for human being. The same way, no function is there for no function is there for vermiform appendix, which is present in the cecum. But whereas for the herbivorous organisms, this appendix is well developed. Appendix is well developed because the cellulose which has to be digested, this most of the cellulose digestion occurs with the help of appendix which is present in the cecum. That is in rabbit, deers or herbivorous animals, most of the cellulose is digested by the appendix. This digested by the appendix. But whereas this appendix is vestigial for the human being. Next, cecum leads to the next part called colon. So cecum leads to the next part called colon. The next part is called colon. Colon is again divided into three parts. Parts, this ascending part. The ascending part is called this ascending part. Another one, this is a ascending part,
and this is transverse part. Transverse part. Transverse part. Descending part. This is called descending part. So this is ascending part of colon, and this is a transverse part of colon. Transverse part of colon. This is transverse part of colon, transverse part, and this one is a descending part. Descending part of colon. So colon is the second part of the large intestine. It is divided into three parts: ascending part, transverse part, and descending part. The main function of colon is colon absorbs the water and minerals present in the undigested food material. So most of the absorption occurs in the colon, that is in the ascending, transverse and descending part.
So any vitamins or more amount of water which is present in the excretory waste material or undigested food material, that absorption occurs inside the colon. And one more thing, this colon is made up of with many longitudinal muscles. Colon is made up of with many longitudinal muscles. Colon is made up of with many longitudinal muscles. Longitudinal muscles. So because of these longitudinal muscles, the projections, many projections are formed because of these longitudinal muscles. Colon is made up of with longitudinal muscles. These longitudinal muscles projects out, or the constrictions occurs in the longitudinal muscles because of this longitudinal muscles, because the large intestine appears to be like this. So this appears because of these projections or ridges occurs because of the constriction of longitudinal muscles, and small pouches comes out. Pouch, pouch. So like this, projections are we can call as pouches appears in the small intestine. That pouch is called haustra. So the pouches present in the large intestine are called haustra. This haustra is nothing but which are the pouches formed by the constriction of longitudinal muscles present in the large intestine. So the next part is called rectum. The next part is called rectum. This is a rectum. Rectum is a small, rectum is a Rectum is a small expanded tube. Rectum is a small expanded tube which retains the undigested food material. Rectum is a small Rectum is a small expanded part of the large intestine which retains or which stores the undigested food material for a little time, not for the more time, but for the little time. So rectum enters to the last part called anus. The last part called anus. So anus is the opening of alimentary canal. Last opening of alimentary canal is anus, or we can call as posterior opening of anus. Posterior opening of alimentary canal is anus. Anus consists of two sphincters, two muscles. Anus possesses our anus is made up of with two muscles. What are the two muscles present in the anus is one is smooth muscles, one is smooth muscles, another one is striped muscles. Smooth muscles and striped muscles. Definitely they will ask the bitumen. See, anus is the posterior opening of the alimentary canal. It consists of two kinds of muscles. One is smooth muscles, another one is striped muscles. Smooth muscles are present in the internal anus means here if suppose if this is the anus, when this is rectum, rectum leads to a part called anus. So inside the anus is lined with smooth muscles, lined with smooth muscles. So the anus which is lined with smooth muscles is having internal, or we can say internal anal sphincter. So two kinds of sphincters are also present in the anus. What are the two kinds of sphincters is internal anal sphincter, internal anal sphincter, internal anal sphincter and external anal sphincter. Internal anal sphincter and external anal sphincter. Internal anal sphincter is lined with the smooth muscles which are involuntary. Involuntary means once the digested food material enters to anus, we have no control over that muscles. So such kind of muscles we will call as involuntary muscles. The last that is internal muscles again opens out to external anal sphincter. Opens out through a sphincter called external anal sphincter. This external anal sphincter is made up of with the striped muscles which are voluntary. Which are voluntary. That is, the striped muscles are voluntary, which opens out through external anal sphincter. So this is the parts of a large intestine. Once again, see children, the main function of large intestine is absorption of water and mineral salts which are present in the undigested food materials, or another way we can say of the nutrients which are again required for the body. If it is present in the undigested food particles, it is reabsorbed in the large intestine, because absorption takes place in the small intestine, reabsorption takes place in the large intestine. It is of 1.5 meters in length, or we can say 1.5 meter in length. So the mainly this consists of the part present in the large intestine are cecum, colon and rectum. Cecum is the part where small intestine joins with the large intestine. Cecum is a blind sac which hosts symbiotic microorganism. Symbiotic microorganism is where the organism gives out the vitamins which is necessary for the body, as well as it is benefited from the body by absorbing the nutrients present in that excretory waste material. Near the union of small intestine and large intestine, small intestine when it is uniting with the large intestine, a valve called ileocecal valve is present. Near the union of ileocecal valve into the cecum, a finger-like structure called vermiform appendix is present. This vermiform appendix is vestigial in human beings. Vestigial in human beings is no function is there for the vermiform appendix in human beings. But whereas in herbivorous animals, that is in ruminant organisms, cellulose digestion takes part in vermiform appendix. The other name for vermiform appendix is abdominal tonsil. Now the second part in large intestine is colon. Colon is a coiled structure where it is divided into three parts. One is ascending part, transverse part, another one is descending part. So the ascending part or transverse part is total we can call as a colon. This is made up of with longitudinal muscles. Because of the constriction of these longitudinal muscles, we can say outgrowths are pouches appears or projections or pouches appears or pouches are formed in the colon. That pouches are called haustra, whereas the main function of this colon is absorption of water and minerals from the undigested food particles. Next one is rectum. Rectum is a small expanded tube where it stores the undigested food materials for a while. Rectum enters to last part called anus. Anus is the posterior opening of the alimentary canal. Anus consists of two kinds of muscles. In the two kinds of muscles are smooth muscles and striped muscles. And also anus is guarded by two kinds of sphincters. What are the two kinds of sphincters is internal anal sphincter and external anal sphincter. Internal anal sphincter is present towards the inner side of anus, which is lined with smooth muscles, and this is involuntary in function. Whereas anus opens out through anal sphincter. Anal sphincter is lined with striped muscles, which is voluntary in function. So these are the parts of a alimentary canal.